Don't, no. I have my copy right. I looked it up, but yeah. So.
Do you want to start?
Yes. Yes. No. Go with that.
All right. We'll officially call to order the meeting for Smith Green Community Schools regular board meeting of June 20, 2022 at 7:04.
Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll have a moment of meditation. Thank you. I didn't grab a sheet.
All right. You planning to speak, Casey?
No.
Got it.
We're ready.
Okay.
Guess we could ask.
Since we don't have anybody speaking, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Yeah, I would ask if you don't have any questions for the consent agenda that you approve it as presented.
Did you guys have an opportunity to review?
I did.
Okay. Well, just need a motion then.
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor? Superintendent report.
Yeah, there's a number of items there. A couple of them I want to call attention to. James Vaughn, do want to call attention to his retirement from the school corporation. Let me pull up just a little bit of detail on Jim. Okay, he had a 19-year career here, and he started with you folks. He's worked as a science teacher and obviously a principal. Also had served as a baseball coach at the junior senior high school. Just want to wish him the best in his retirement. You have a number of other personnel things. In particular, I would call attention to one question. There is a route driver transfer. I don't know if there's any questions about that. Basically, we're looking at adding a additional route because we now are going to be hauling all of our students who formerly would have been participating in co-op transportation. So that co-op is no longer participating in that. And then I believe Jody's already talked a little bit about, since they no longer need buses at the special ed, some of those buses are coming to us. And so we have to redo the bus transportation plan. And so that's what that particular transfer to that route is all about. And then the business that Jody will be talking about, I don't think you're talking about any of that tonight?
A little bit.
Okay. But that's what all that comes from.
Mm-hmm. As far as the highlighted items that we had on here, which were, I assume they were just the contracts for our administration, right? So when we look at it, because we approved, for instance, Mr. Graber and Mr. Gunther at our last meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
That show up in your file.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have the contracts on mine.
I don't have that on mine either.
Are you guys all highlighted? Are you on the revised June 20th?
July 20th.
Oh, maybe I'm on June 20th. Even when I called the meeting, I did say June 20th. Mine's out of order. I clicked the top one.
Oops.
Here we go. Hey, that looks better. That makes a lot of sense.
No contracts there?
Yeah, that's what I'm like looking at it going, I've already seen this. Okay. All right.
So I would present those items for your approval.
Yes.
I'll motion to approve the personnel agenda.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3-0. All right, legislative report. That's me. I did not have any new items from the legislation side. Other business.
The Indiana co-op is looking at moving the choice program from Angola to Kendallville. I don't know if you've talked about that at all here before, but the choice program is for students who are 21 years of age, basically have aged out of regular education, but until the age of 23, we want to provide occupational support services and things like that, and people can participate in that program through the choice program. And we belong to that, along with all the other co-op schools. The program traditionally has been in Angola, but due to an influx of federal dollars, there is adequate funding to build a home in Kendallville and move that program to Kendallville, which is much greater to our advantage as opposed to traveling to Angola. So financially, we've been supporting the choice program operationally. The building of this would be through federal dollars that have never even hit our books. In fact, I talked to Jody about it. She said, I don't know about this. And so I had a fellow superintendent I called and got the lowdown on, okay, what's going on here? And so it's a very positive thing. The Governing Council of Superintendents, who is the administrative arm of the co-op, the oversight board for the co-op, has approved it. So now what we need to do is have each individual school board approve that as well, so that we then can move forward. And DeKalb Eastern, who's the LEA, the fiscal agent for the co-op, can move forward with you having given your understanding that that's how these federal funds are going to be used, and acknowledge that that house is going to be built. So, which would recommend that you would approve the choice program and then the accompanying paperwork that needs to be signed in here.
So, at no cost to us.
The only cost is that there would be the ongoing operational cost, but that is something we are already paying. No increased cost to us.
Right.
That would be the best way to say it.
No,
And then also
for the new building.
yeah, and then also the existing building is, I believe, owned by the co-op, and that's going to be sold, so that'll also help offset the cost of the construction.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's a very good opportunity, certainly better for our kids, which is what it's all about.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we know how many of our students go to that, participate in that?
I do not know if we have anybody in it now or not.
I don't think we do, but I don't know that for sure.
It would surprise me in that it's been inevitable. That's a long trek to go for a day's of work. And it's an occupational placement typically where they will be placed. The students will be placed out with occupational supports in a local business is typically the way it works, as well as there's some training that takes place at the choice house itself.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah, so we recommend approval.
Any other questions?
I don't. I'll motion to approve the choice house agreement.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Excellent.
Okay. As Dr. Zimmerly said, the co-op has disbanded their transportation services effective the coming school year. And so this past school year, we actually did not have any students that needed to be transported to other districts. So the way the co-op works is they have, our school has classrooms that provide services for specific needs. Other districts do the same. And so this upcoming school year, we do have some students who are going to need to go to another school district for services. And so we are going to need transportation. Since the co-op has disbanded the transportation piece, they did give the opportunity to participating schools to purchase any buses, any of their fleet. So we chose, we're going to need one regular bus that will make the trip every day. In fact, we'll be making 3 trips trips a day. And then we needed a spare. And so these are the special needs buses, they have the lifts and
Okay.
everything. Yeah, so we needed a spare. And so we were able to get 2 buses. One was a 2021 bus with about 40,000 miles on it for $43,000. And then the second one that we would use as a spare is a 2016 bus that has approximately 228,000 miles on it. So it's got quite a bit more, but we only paid $2,000 for it, so.
Those are good prices for.
They really are. Yeah, they really are. Yeah, so the co-op had worked with Curlin's bus sales to get a trade-in value, and that's basically what they're selling them back to the schools for, is that trade-in value, so. Yeah, so we were able to get that. So, according to State Board of Accounts, they came up with a resolution that each one of the school districts and DeKalb East, which is the LEA for the co-op, needs to sign, basically just transferring property from one district to another. And so that's what I've got in front of you now, is that resolution, asking you to approve that, to transfer the 2 school buses from DeKalb East to our.
And even the spare, when we had talked about this before, right? Even the spare we thought was in better shape than what our.
Yes. And the plan was, when we got back here, to look at the spare we have here. So we'll need 2 spares, unfortunately. We'll need a spare for our regular route that does our students that come to this district. And then we'll need a spare for the one that's going to the other districts. With this purchase, we will have 3 spares, so one of those will be a trade. And so, so Ed is going to just determine which one. First initial look was this is one he would keep, and then get rid of one of ours.
Yeah. And wasn't there something with this, so as we buy these into the co-op, then we end up getting money back?
Yeah, so what they'll do is they'll take they'll take what they get out of all the buses, and divide that out over the 13 districts. So if they got what they were listed at here, which I'm pretty sure that they all did, we should end up, after we pay the $45,000 back to them, we should end up with a little over $8,000 coming back to us. So.
Great.
Where will they be going 3 times a day? What for their?
It's actually, they're going to West Noble. It just happens to be that the students that we have going need to be there. We've got one student who will be there all day, and then we've got one student who will go in the morning and come back, and then a student who will go up for the afternoon. So our driver will take 2 up in the morning, come back, take 1 up, pick 1 up and come back, and then go back to get the other students.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay.
So we'll have to have one more driver for that, right?
Right, so what the transfer in here is that one of our regular route drivers will be transferring over to that, and then she, Mrs. Geiger, has posted for an additional driver to cover her route.
Okay, thank you.
She's got some interviews planned on that.
Yes,
I think.
yes.
All right.
Luckily, she's been so good at making sure we have not been short subs. She's done a really good job of recruiting subs, and so she's got a couple people who are really interested in taking over that route, and still she should be in really good shape with subs. So,
Good.
yeah.
Yeah, I know I see stories all the time of all kinds of districts that can't find drivers and work at it.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
kudos to her.
She does
Yeah,
a great
big
job
shout out to
recruiting.
April. She
Absolutely.
She does do a great job.
Okay.
I'm good. I have no questions.
I'll motion to approve the resolution for transfer exchange of bus purchases.
I will second that.
All those in favor? 3-0.
Thanks, guys. Okay. Who's up again?
Yeah.
It's the Jody show.
Yeah. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of an MOU or agreement for our book fee collection, which is, we refer to it as the TREX program. TREX stands for the Tax Refund Exchange and Compliance System. It's through the Association of Indiana Counties. But basically, there's an Indiana code out there that authorizes local government agencies to participate in the state's debt set-off program. And what that is so local government agencies can collect individual tax refunds to pay off debt. So the town of Cherubusco already uses this program to collect outstanding utility fees. We would be using it to collect mostly outstanding textbook fees. If there happens to be any other fees, I know sometimes New Era has trouble collecting on some of their fees. If we have stuff like that, we can submit to the tax program the names of the debtors, the people who owe us money, and collect. If they can match it up, Social Security wise, like they do the match. If they can match it, we will. They will pay us out of that individual's tax refund. There would be a $20 charge that the clearinghouse charges to the individual. So on top of the debt, there's a $20 charge that the clearinghouse charges to process that. Indiana Department of Revenue would charge on top of the debt owed 15% that would go back to Indiana Department of Revenue. So that person would have additional fees incurred. There's no cost to the school corporation unless we choose to participate in the letter service that they provide. Basically, it's that the clearinghouse would send out a letter to the individual who owes us, giving them 30 days to come in and pay off the debt, or like send in a letter that they are trying to dispute it, basically. So they have 30 days to pay it off or dispute it, and then if they pay it off, we just go in, we take it off.
Judy, were you saying with the company we have now, though, it costs more to send the letter?
It does, yeah. So the collection company that we use now charges us $6 per collection.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be a savings for us.
Okay.
Talking to Madeline, she's had a lot of success. Typically, people get the letter and they come in and pay it off so that they don't, you know.
So at that point, if they get the letter from the collection agency and they come in and pay it off, are they still paying the additional $20?
No, only if they tap into the tax refund.
If they don't come pay it, and then they have to go
Correct.
that route.
Correct. Yes, yes.
Okay. And what was our cost for the letter service?
$2 per letter. $2 per letter.
Compared to 6.
Yeah, how many letters we send out a year through this?
So this past school year, we collected 70% of the junior senior high textbook fees, and we collected 78% of the elementary fees. So as far as the number of letters or the number of seats, I'm not 100% sure about that. We do tend to try to combine them. So if we have 3 or 4 kids or any more than one student in the same family, we try to combine them into one seat, they call it. So, and this would work, I think that this would work the same way, that we could combine the family's debt and then just send one. So,
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, sounds like a win-win.
yeah. So the first thing we need to do to get it started is to have you guys approve and sign the memorandum of understanding, and then from there we'll take it and get us all set up. And,
Do we need a motion or vote, or we just need to? I'll make a motion that we accept that proposal as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Hearing nothing.
Thanks, guys.
Next item we have is your Sro Agreement. No changes to this. Would recommend that we continue with our school resource officer agreement.
Yeah.
Questions?
No, that's a great benefit that he's with the town. That helps us a lot. So I'll make the motion that we accept that again and renew that as proposed.
And I'll second.
All those in favor? Anything? Hearing nothing?
I should talk about it.
Next item is teacher and instructional assistant substitute rates. We need to set rates for when a teacher is out, and in addition, sometimes we have an instructional assistant who's out that we also like to secure a substitute for. So we're recommending those rates be updated. 95 a day for a substitute, and then instructional assistant at 85 a day.
Is there a vote what we
That's last year's rates as well, that last year we had raised it.
Yeah, we raised it last year,
Yes.
so these are the same
These are
rates
the
that
same.
we raised it to last year.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
Does this go through the Region 8, or wasn't there a central pool that we used, or did I miss?
Yeah, we don't use Region 8, we use, EduStaff.
Okay.
It's a company that provides substitutes. Currently, that EduStaff is providing subs for Whitley County Consolidated, Whitco, Warsaw, ourselves. I think they were trying to get Central, but we didn't, they haven't signed yet. But, so it's helpful that they've actually been able to pick up those other districts too, because now we can all kind of share subs, so that has helped. So it's been a really hard year. The last couple of years have been really hard getting getting subs
Right.
filled.
How do these rates compare with those districts? I mean, is it like a flat rate for
You know,
anybody that uses them, or does
each district can set their own rates.
Okay.
When we signed on, or when we raised them last year, it brought us in line, not completely, but we were close to the other districts. Warsaw's just, they pay a lot more than we do, but it brought us closer. I don't know if anybody will raise their rates this year or not.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
We were competitive last year when we raised it.
Right.
I still think that at $95 a day, I wouldn't sign up. But that's why I'm not a teacher. That's why I'm not a teacher.
Boss take vacation?
There's no doubt in my mind in the next year or two, you're going to have to make a pretty significant increase. But yeah, I mean, if it's working, it's working. I mean,
Right.
it's a business. We don't have to raise them. Let's stay where we're at. But
I'll motion to approve the teacher and instructional assistant substitute rates.
And I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye. 3-0.
Latchkey agreement would be the next thing. Oops. Did I miss one?
No,
Oh.
we're on non-resident transfer.
Oh, yes. Your board policy requires that you set a limit. We are not looking at any changes in that. Would recommend that limit be approved. It doesn't look like that's an action item, it's just the information only, so.
Okay.
All right. Now latchkey approval. All right, I don't believe there's any changes to that. Do you have any information on that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's the agreement that goes with the Community Child Care Center to provide latchkey services K-6 through the 20 and 25. So we recommend that you would approve that.
Right.
Any questions?
I do not.
Then I'll motion to approve the latchkey agreement.
All set?
All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
The extracurricular financial accounts.
Quickly, financial report. There isn't anything to approve here. It's just basically the extracurricular funds runs the year, fiscal year of July 1 through June 30th. So at the end of June 30, she does her year-end reports. We have to submit all that to the state and to State Board of Accounts. And so this is just an annual review that comes to you guys just to look at.
And then the fund accounts.
And this is the annual approval of the extracurricular funds. So moving into the 22-23 school year, this is currently the list of extracurricular accounts that we have on our books.
Is
And that does need that is an action item.
Questions?
Do you have any, actually, I know you explained this once. Is it, we still have the sunglasses on it because they still have money in their account?
Yep.
Okay.
So there's a resolution out there, and I brought it because I was expecting Kathy to ask, but I forgot she wasn't going to be here. But basically, the resolution says that this was signed back in 2012. After the 11th year of classes money, effective with the 2012 class, sorry. After the 11th year, any remaining monies will automatically be transferred back to the school for our designated use. This resolution does not say where that money will go or what it will be used for. My suggestion, when it comes time for that, we won't have to do that until next year for the 2012 class. My suggestion to you at that point will be that we use that, go back to the junior, senior high student miscellaneous fund. That way it's still used on kids. It's still, the principal of the junior, senior high has access to those funds to use it for anything that would benefit all the kids.
Yeah.
So when this was signed, it did grandfather in any of the classes that still had money in our accounts prior to 2012. So we do have now, we have hit the time where, and Kathy had emailed to ask if we needed alumni names. We are going to have to get rid of some of those accounts now, so we'll have to get a hold of those, the class presidents and such, to figure out if they want to do the same, donate it back to the class, or donate back to the junior, senior high miss. They can donate it to an upcoming graduating class if they want. But yeah, our suggestion will be to them when we send a letter that we want to just put it back into the school. So, yeah.
What kind of amounts are we talking?
Yeah.
If you look on, you don't have it, I'm sorry.
It's minimal, isn't
It's
it?
It is.
Very small.
So.
What was this? Is that what this one?
So the class of 2000 has $300. The class of 2001 has $83. The class of 2002 has $300, as well as the class of 2008. Class of 2010 has $370. So those are the classes that we'll send letters out to now to ask them by the end of this school year if they would get back to. Some of the other classes, though, as you get back into, like over the COVID years, those classes still have quite a bit of money in their funds because they didn't do their senior trips. So they still have quite a bit of money in their funds. So I don't know, we're going to figure out what to do with that. Like one of the classes, the class of 2020 has over $7,000. Right? That's what,
It's a destination.
that senior trip they didn't get to take? Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Oh, we need to action on
We
that.
do.
All right. I'll motion to approve the extracurricular fund account.
I'll second that.
Those in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Thank you.
Kathy's in Neola or something.
Right, Neola.
She, Dee said that you would be happy if there were none.
Correct.
Very much so.
All right.
Public comments. Do you have anything now? All right. Administrative comments?
One of the things that I talked to Jody about a little bit, that I think at some point in the board meetings, I think it'd be nice for us to have an opportunity to do a little bit of a brain dump as to kind of just what's going on, what can you anticipate coming up in the future. So there's just a couple of things we want to make you aware of, specifically to some things actually that Jeremiah might be participating in as well. We would like to continue to move forward on looking at the weight room / fitness facility. We've got a couple of meetings scheduled for that, and we would anticipate that we would be moving we want to move fairly rapidly for funding reasons, so that possibly we can tap into this year's funding as Jody is developing that budget. So just want you to know that those discussions are happening and that they're taking place. Also, you have 2 meetings coming up in August. Just a reminder that the first one is August 1st. At that meeting, we would anticipate that we would have be asking approval for a high school principal candidate. We have gone through an extensive process, and we are working to get you actually the best candidate that we can in a fairly short amount of time, and we're excited about that. We will be starting the school year without the second assistant principal. You had previously approved a principal and 2 assistants, but both one assistant and the head principal have left now in short order. So we're going to start the year with trying to secure a principal, and then we have the one assistant Brett, that you already approved. And then just want to make sure that you're aware of that. Also, another thing we're working on in terms of the fitness facility is actually having what we're calling a core team, try to get together. Jeremiah, and I do need to clarify, would you be available to do that on Monday at the time suggested? So we're going to be pulling together what we're calling a core team of people that have coach representatives, health and PE representatives, board representative, and then Jody and I there for the funding side of everything. And we also met with Wayne today to talk about other pressure points when it comes to facilities and needed funds and some of those kind of things. So we're anticipating that in short order, not on the first, we'll probably report on that on the first, either Jeremiah or one of our, I'll probably try to fill you in on what happened in that meeting, which is going to take place the morning of the first. In this kind of a context, just sort of a verbal report, because I won't have time to get to you ahead of time, but keep you in the loop on that, because we do want to move those thoughts and ideas forward. If there's any questions about that. The other thing, we are working, and there has been a change. I know we are looking at the change in the traffic pattern out here. That we are going to be, April is going to be pushing out information and communicating to the public about that. She's got some ideas about how she's going to do that, so continue to move forward with that. So I think we're in pretty good shape with most of those projects. So I think that's all
I just wanted to remind you guys that on August 1st, we'll bring that bus replacement amendment to you. It'll be a hearing and then the approval of the amended plan for that. And then, obviously, we're in budget season, so my plan is, my hope is that I can get to you guys on that second meeting in August, the presentation, and then ask for your approval to advertise at that point. We will have to have the hearing in September and adopt the budget in October. It'll have to be submitted to the state by November 1, so I'll give you guys an official budget calendar as well, but it's kind of the plan right now, so. Thanks.
How are remodeling projects coming along?
All through, like the summer projects and
Yes.
stuff? Oh goodness, I didn't bring this with me.
My understanding is going well.
Yeah.
I think they're in good shape. Matt is on top of it. I mean, he's been able to take a week away, but other than that, he's been spending quite a bit of time. I know Wayne has been very responsive and supportive. There is one question relative to that. One of the things we want to do is get those columns painted out front. There's some rusting on the back. You know, Wayne asked about colors. I said, I don't do colors. He said, I don't either. And,
So Jody went out with it?
Yeah. Jody went out and looked at it, and we're going with a very bright purple. We're matching your fingernail.
Fluorescent yellow.
As you walk out,
Safety yellow?
I believe what the intent of those columns is to match the roof and the spouting.
Yeah.
So I think what we're going to do is match the roof and the spouting, unless I'm sure that's what the intent was for those columns. They faded so bad, so I think we're going to try to get those painted, which I think will make a pretty big difference. But I think
My understanding is most of the carpet is down in all the classrooms. I think B6 and the elementary office still needs to be done. The furniture has been delivered.
Okay.
So all the furniture is here, to my understanding. I haven't heard that anything got back ordered or anything, so all the furniture is here except for the reception area in the elementary office, because we didn't order that until too late to get it here with that shipment. So that is done. Obviously, the parking lot's been restriped. I think they're going to finish up the painting. We talked to them this afternoon to finish up the striping for the student walkway. I think I know that the mulch is down on the playground. The doors, all the doors and windows have been replaced. The elementary gym doors, all that frame, the window, that's been replaced. The one over here, door 8, that's been replaced. 22 and 23. 22 was made ADA accessible. 23's been replaced. I don't know, guys, that's all that's coming to mind. I can't remember that one's right off. But
I was mostly concerned with, did we get our furniture and stuff
Oh.
like that for the remodel?
Yeah.
In the elementary side.
Since we sold all the other.
Yes.
The auction actually went really well.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten the official report back from the online auction, but I was kind of watching it off and on that day, and honestly, more stuff was selling than I expected to.
Right.
We did still have some stuff that didn't sell, but we sold more stuff than I thought we would.
I
That's good.
think Wayne got it all cleared out, back so the kids could utilize that gym again for a short time, but I think they're gonna be resurfacing, finishing that, so it's gonna be closed down again a little bit, but.
So the junior high gym,
Yeah.
right?
They did the high school.
High school gym.
They did the high school
I know it
gym.
was sanded
Yes,
a couple weeks ago.
yes, and that is finished. The intention was to do the middle school gym at the same time, but we had all the auction stuff finished, so I think they're coming back during that second moratorium week,
Oh,
is what Wayne was gonna aim for anyway.
Yeah.
We were working on picking some design to put safety film on those front doors. Did we ever get newly rendered drawings, or where are we at on that? We never approved anything,
It's true, we did.
and that was using up some safety.
It's using
grant money.
safety grant money.
I'm thinking,
Who's
I'm
helping us
gonna
design
have to
those?
look into that for you, because I have no
Who's
idea.
helping us design those? I knew,
well,
It was
Luke and
46
46
graphics.
graphics.
Oh, Mr. Cooper, yeah. Well,
You've gotten a note down for that.
looking
Right.
real quick to see the last email from Cooper, just to see if
Well, we were waiting on updated drawings
they were.
because of all those little signs that are all over it.
I didn't think so. I thought we agreed.
well, we hadn't agreed on what we were gonna do with those little signs, but
Right.
I think we just decided on the graphic, right?
Yeah.
Well,
No, hold on, I think, hold on. We did get, 46 Graphics did contact us, and I put them in touch with Wayne, because they wanted to schedule an install date.
Oh, well, that's good, okay.
So, but I don't know what Wayne worked out with them, but I
Okay.
put them in touch with Wayne to schedule an install date.
but we need to refresh where you guys are at.
Yeah, just maybe
The actual,
yeah, because I think we came down to 3 choices and then we chose one, so maybe it'd be nice to see this is what it's gonna look like, I guess, at the end, and where we're gonna put those little signs, like we can't smoke or you.
Right, that was
Yeah.
my concern.
Okay. We'll try to have that for sure on the first.
Okay.
You jotted that down, right?
yes.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Where you going? What are you going?
Yeah, maybe relative to that, I will be out next week, but we'll be back on the first. So we've got a lot going on, but, sure, everybody will be fine, so.
I'd like to wish Mr. Fallon a wonderful retirement and thank him for all of his 19 years worth of service. And also Mr. Miller, and wish him good luck in his future endeavors.
Yeah, same, just super, a little bit sad to see him go. Mr. Fallon wasn't my chemistry teacher, but I was the baseball manager, and he was the baseball coach. He was on the Rays, yeah. So I always think fond of him, and Mr. Miller operates us in the gym, that's for sure.
I do wish everyone the best in their retirement and next stage. And thank you for making this a better place than when they arrived. Having a positive impact.
No one has anything else. We'll go ahead and close the July 20th Smith Green Community Schools regular board meeting at 7:43. Thank you.
It seems early.